The first week of July 2026 presented professional race teams and sanctioning bodies across North America with a complex matrix of meteorological challenges, geographical logistics, and high stakes track conditions. Motorsports operations were heavily influenced by a severe mid Atlantic heat wave, which brought ambient temperatures and heat indices well above 100 degrees, prompting major venues to adjust schedules to protect competitors and machinery. This extreme atmospheric thermal load was punctuated by localized torrential convective storms that forced the cancellation of multiple marquee dirt track features, including the final legs of the 36th annual Pennsylvania Sprint Car Speed Week and the World of Outlaws Late Model Division's Gopher 50. Meanwhile, National Asphalt Stock Car Racing successfully executed its midsummer transition to the Midwestern region with a demanding holiday weekend doubleheader at Chicagoland Speedway, highlighting the operational necessity of managing engine thermodynamics and mechanical durability over long, high-speed runs. With that visor down and those tear-offs ready, this isn't just racing.
This is Switching Grooves. What's up, Russ?
Hey, Nate, what's going on, bud?
Not much, Russ. What's up with you?
Just a long, hard week at work and
I know
just a
that
lot of
feeling.
chaos. A
Yeah,
lot of things
it's.
going on at once, man.
Oh, I understand that. It's been hot at work here too.
So yeah, trying to keep my other guy in order and all of his stuff. A lot of things kind of got jumbled around at work, so it was a long, hard, mentally hard week trying to keep everything in order on top of doing my actual job. So
Oh
the
yeah.
boss was gone this week, so it was up to the leads to keep everything in order this week. So
What's up, Jason? I see
and
you in the comments.
it Yeah, it's kind of late tonight, man. I had to get everything set back up here in the trailer, so it's just and I had some other things going on before I had or was able to get back over here today. So, but anyway, I'll just kind of take a sip of water here and then roll right into it. But the Pennsylvania Sprint Speed Week and Regional Momentum Central Pennsylvania's legendary Sprint Car Speed Week entered its critical, I'll say, final phase during the analytic window, determining both substantial financial rewards and the overall series championship. The mini-series culminated in a dramatic battle for supremacy between Red Hot Chase Dietz and reigning champion Anthony Macri. Um, they Where do they go? They go to Port Royal, known as the Speed Palace. The half mile was lightning fast, um, and that was because of high ambient humidity, which retained moisture in the clay, and it produced times hovering around the 16-second mark. Started fourth on the grid. Chase Dietz actually utilized the low line to take down pole sitter James McFadden and early leader Anthony Macri. And Macri, who has actually amassed 30 career 410 victories at Port Royal, he maintained a comfortable 1.3 second lead in clean air. But however, as the leaders entered heavy traffic, the lap car of Buddy Schweibens, I hope I said that right.
I
He
I
spun
can't
direct.
pronounce them.
I know can't even remember hearing him say it on TV, but um, Schweibens spun directly in front of Macri, which broke his momentum. Dietz capitalized on that error and executed a precise pass to secure the victory and extend his points lead. Then they moved to Hagerstown Speedway. The series actually crossed the state lines to Hagerstown Speedway in Maryland, which I don't know how you call that
It's
Pennsylvania Speedway, but
technically it's not that far across the PA line. It's kind of like Sharon is with the Western Pennsylvania Speed Weeks. Is Western Pennsylvania Speed Week still runs Sharon, but also Ohio Speed Weeks still has Sharon. So it's kind of a gray area for both Selmsgrove or not Selmsgrove, Hagerstown, and Sharon. They're the same in the same boat.
so in Hagerstown, Macri responded to his Port Royal defeat with a dominant performance, just dominant. He utilized the track's high side to pull away from Ryan Newton, Troy Wugman Jr., and Justin Whittall, and a single caution on lap 6 for Buddy Schweibens. His spin was the only disruption of the 30-lap feature, and that allowed Macri to showcase his car's clean air aerodynamic balance. And that's just insane that the same guy cost each one of them a victory. Schweibens spun at both tracks. The first night it cost Anthony Macri a victory, and the second night it cost Dietz. So then they move on to Williams Grove. The track actually hosted the 38th annual Mitch Smith Memorial, which offered 20,000 to win, and Macri and Dietz shared the front row, with Macri actually gaining the early advantage. Following a caution on lap 17 for a stopped Doug Hammaker, Logan Schuchart moved into third, but the battle for the lead actually remained a duel between the two title contenders. Dietz consistently gained ground through turns 1 and 2. He used a mid-track line, which forced Macri into a defensive posture. And on the final lap, Macri actually executed a slide job through turn 4, but overshot the moisture strip and hopped the outside cushion, which actually, spun his rear tires and made him drift low across the front stretch. So Dietz actually surged on the outside because of that, and the two crossed the line side by side, with Macri preserving the win by a microscopic margin of just 0.04 seconds. Logan
Wow.
Schuchart actually, yeah, Logan Schuchart finished third. Brett Marks and James McFadden actually completed the top 5. Oh, man, you talk about, though, just some awesome finishes this year in Ohio and Pennsylvania. I mean, these two states are literally the heart of sprint car racing, if you ask me. And we've been seeing a lot of great action this year. And I can't wait to see the second half of the season, man. But after that, the final 2 scheduled events of the mini series, the July 4th Greg Hodnett Classic at Port Royal Speedway, and the July 5th Opperman Bogar Heinzelman Memorial at Selinsgrove were actually canceled due to severe persistent rainfall. And that, because that actually saturated the track surfaces beyond recovery, they just lost the racetrack, so they couldn't get them back. But that solidified the point standings as of Friday night, and it crowned Anthony Macri as the 2026 PA Speedway champion, marking his 4th consecutive title. Macri concluded the abbreviated 8 races with 4 victories and 1,164 points, while Dietz finished as the runner-up with 4 victories and 1,073 points. James McFadden finished third in the final standings with 1,012 points, followed by Brady Bacon in 4th with 896 points, and Ryan Newton in 5th with 895 points. The World of Outlaws and High Limit were, what do you want to call it? The two national series executed a, I don't know, pre-planned scheduled break during the first week of July, and this allows the teams to rebuild their equipment, their car, get things in line for the demanding midsummer stretch. You've got Kings Royal coming up and all kinds of other stuff. Uh, it's gonna be pretty hectic. So the World of Outlaws, following their high-paying Federated Auto Parts Independent Spectacular at Cedar Lake Speedway, which was on June 26th to 27th, where David Gravel actually swept Friday's program and Sheldon Haudenschild secured his milestone 50th career series victory on Saturday. The World of Outlaws sprint cars took an off week for the Independence Day holiday, and the pause in the racing action actually set up a highly concentrated stretch of 13 races in 24 days across 8 tracks. So this intense run resumes tonight, which it was currently going on when I was setting up for the show, so we'll have a recap of that on the next show. But that resumed tonight with the Pure Michigan Showdown at Hartford Speedway, and that marks the series' first visit to the racetrack since 2019. The tour actually then moves immediately to Wilmot Speedway in Wisconsin for the Larry Hillerud Memorial on July 10th and 11th, which is tomorrow and Saturday. And entering this summer stretch, David Gravel actually holds an 86-point lead over Carson Macedo and Buddy Kofoid, who are tied for second. But following the Wisconsin doubleheader, the tour converges on Attica Raceway Park on Tuesday, July 14th, for the highly prestigious 38th Annual Ohio Logistics Brad Doty Classic, presented by DAC Vitamins and Minerals. So this is a crown jewel event every year, and it features an elevated prize purse of $20,000 to win and actually $1,200 to start this year. Serving as the official kickoff to the massive, if you call it, high-stakes Ohio Swing, the Classic paves the way directly to Outdoor Speedway's legendary Kings Royal Week. Cali's Performance Products returns as the title sponsor of the evening's team main, while Carson Macedo enters as the defending champion, having outdueled Buddy Kofoid and Donnie Schatz to claim the title in 2025. Now, High Limit Racing similarly halted operations after their June 26th and 27th visit to Big Sky Speedway in Billings, Montana. Excuse me. And while Rico Abreu actually secured the preliminary feature on June 26th, the Saturday night 26,000 to win finale was actually completely rained out, and that forced officials to plan a relocation of the event to a future date. The High Limit Tour actually resumes its schedule on Monday, July 13th, this coming Monday, at Fremont Speedway right here in Ohio. So the World of Outlaws late models were actually sidelined over the holiday weekend due to severe weather there. And the highly anticipated Napa Auto Parts Gopher 50 at Deer Creek Speedway in Spring Valley, Minnesota, was actually scheduled for July 3rd and 4th. Completely rained out, like I said. So that kind of sucked, but Mother Nature is kind of winning this year, I'll tell you that.
Yep.
But the mid-season momentum at Attica and Fremont is what I'm going to talk about here just very quickly. While Central Pennsylvania was actually captivating open-wheel fans with Speed Week, the highly competitive dirt tracks of Ohio produced crucial regional showdowns. Attica Raceway Park on July 3rd, the scheduled Sutton Bank Heidelberg Materials Fan Appreciation Night, which was set to feature the AFCS 410 and 305 sprint cars, was completely rained out. And Fremont Speedway on July 4th, it successfully executed its traditional July 4th program under the Friendship Kitchen banner, featuring highly competitive main events across the 3 divisions. In the 410 sprint cars, Caleb Henry started from the pole and pulled away on the race's sole restart to win the 30-lap feature in the number 101. Henry adjusted his line to run the high cushion on turns 1 and 2, defeating Cap Henry, Bryce Lucius, Darren Nida, and TJ Michael. In the 305 sprints and trucks, in the 305 sprints, Jamie Miller and Brian Savito actually engaged in a really, really good battle. And on the final lap, the leaders actually encountered a slow lap car. Miller and Sabito split the lap machine, banging wheels as they crossed the finish line, but Miller secured the win by inches, marking his first 305 win of the season and his 57th career victory at Fremont. Over in the dirt truck feature, while Sean Valenti took the lead on lap 5, surviving several restarts, and that secured his second division win of the season, and it actually extended his career victory record to 93 or 93rd, 93 at Fremont Speedway, we should say. That is amazing. So, congrats to Sean Valenti on just being able to accomplish 93 victories at Fremont Speedway. And you've done it in my opinion, such a short period of time compared to some of the record holders. I mean, amazing. A guy has a lot of talent, and congrats to him. So the schedule shifts and revival at Mansfield Speedway continued to build on its successful revival under track owner Matt Tift. So on Monday, June 29th, officials with the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series actually announced that Friday, July 3rd, the event scheduled originally for Atomic Speedway was relocated to Mansfield Speedway. This high-profile relocation provided Ohio late model fans with another premier showcase at the redesigned half-mile facility. This really shows that Atomic is pretty much in trouble, and I hate to see that for Atomic Speedway. Such a great facility, such a great racetrack. I really hope that they can. I hope that they can get something figured out, man, because I don't want to lose another one. I mean, we lost a great racetrack when it came to East Bay down in Florida. Very, very unfortunate. It sucks, but I really do hope that Atomic gets it figured out, or they sell the place and we get a new owner that's good and can keep the facility going. One way or another, man, I really, really, really hope that they could keep the place going. So best of luck to them, and we'll keep praying for you. So some silly season news, which just came out the other day. Crazy. I really didn't expect this to happen, but Brock Zierfoss actually joins Dutcher Motorsports.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, the sprint car touring rosters actually witnessed a significant midweek shakeup on yesterday, as Jonestown, Pennsylvania native Brock Zierfoss is signed to pilot the Michael Dutcher Motorsports number 17 GP for the remainder of the high limit racing season. Zierfoss replaces rookie competitor Hank Davis, who was officially relieved of his driving duties on Tuesday. Davis departed the number 17 GP team, positioned 13th in the high limit championship standings, and he recorded 2 top 5 finishes and 5 top 10s over 21 starts this year. Not too bad for a rookie, so I'm kind of curious on why this actually happened. I would like to know more, but I don't have any more information on it right now. But Zierfoss, who has actually spent the 2026 season running a highly successful True Outlaw schedule, brings a wealth of veteran experience and regional momentum to the Brownsburg, Indiana-based team. Zierfoss has already accumulated 2 feature victories, 7 top 5s, and 21 top 10s this year. The newly formed pairing will actually make their debut on Monday, July 13th at Fremont Speedway for the Hollywood Casino High Stakes Showdown, kickstarting a very high-profile stretch of racing, which culminates with the 43rd annual running of the King's Royal at Eldora. So we've got an action-packed week of sprint car racing again here in Ohio, and I love when this week comes along, right along with Speed Week. But Zierfoss and Dutcher also plan to target select marquee non-sanctioned events as schedule alignments permit, including the Knoxville Nationals in August. So I mean, we'll see what they can come up with, man. But no, I really hope Hank Davis finds the ride too. Best of luck to him, man. I wasn't expecting this to happen, and I don't think you're doing too bad, dude. Keep your head up and keep pushing, man. And you're gonna get there one day. So that's all I got for the dirt stuff. But we'll let Nathan kind of move on to Chicago. I mean, I'll kind of join him there. But where were they at?
Well,
So 100 or a mile and a half D-shaped oval of Chicagoland Speedway. Not even a D-shaped. It's more like a, I don't know. I hate Chicagoland. But that's that served for what NASCAR's premier divisions over the weekend, and characterized by its unique curved backstretch and aged abrasive asphalt pavement. The venue actually demanded special aerodynamic calibrations. Am
yeah,
I right?
I guess you could say that. Even the greatest struggled this weekend. I mean, Kyle Larson spun from third, so not. I guess everybody has their bad days. Just not a real opportune place for him to spin. Ended up getting stuck in the infield after all the rain they had this weekend. Unfortunately, we had just another case of deja vu for NASCAR this week. You have Austin Hill and SVG getting into it for like I don't know third week in a row. You got Connor Zilic, deja vu from like every race this season. Wrecks on lap one, doesn't even make it out of turn two. All kinds of just same stuff, different day. Toyota dominating. I do want to dive a little bit more into the retaliation, we'll call it, of SVG and Austin Hill. Austin Hill, or not Austin Hill, SVG is getting a little bit more obvious with his just cleaning Austin Hill out. Or as Austin Hill calls it, Shane Van Guggenheim, which I thought was the funniest soundbite of the entire weekend, was the 33 crew trying to pronounce SVG's name. It was probably the funniest part of the entire thing.
Jason.
What?
You didn't see that?
Oh, Kyle Busch spun the ghost of Kyle Larson out.
No, no.
Oh,
I was messing with him, and I showed his comment about it, talking about himself.
eating all that stuff. That was
No,
kind of
he
funny.
called himself a fat ass. Yeah.
But yeah, I have to laugh because NASCAR Renegades has some pretty great, I guess, impersonations of these drivers. You got Austin Hill as the famous Bobby Hill, which I totally could see the resemblance. I thought was the funniest thing ever. And then Van Guggenheim, which is even funnier to say in person.
It isn't even that isn't even close to Van Gisbergen.
It was so bad that it was funny. I do this. I'm not able to bring the soundbite up for the episode, but when asked about Hill after the race, SVG said something along the lines of, "I tried talking to him, but all he does is grunt," which, to be fair, is a very accurate description of Austin Hill. I don't know if I've actually heard him apologize for anything. And when he's mad at somebody, I'm guarantee that you hear more grunt than words, which was very funny. I won't lie. But that was not the only retaliation move this weekend. Zane Smith broke Landon Castle's number one rule when he went up against Carson Hocevar. If you're going to wreck somebody, don't wreck yourself. And honestly, I want to know what went through Zane Smith's head, because that looked more like something out of a NASCAR video game than a legit professional athlete. Dude tried to clean out Carson Hocevar, and rather than spin him out, just went straight to the outside wall. Is he either out of breath? Oh my gosh, I love that, Jason. That is probably the greatest comment I've ever heard. That was pretty great, I won't lie. But yeah, I honestly am shocked with NASCAR's ruling this week. After the events earlier this year of Ryan Preece getting penalized for essentially dumping Ty Gibbs and getting penalized, there was no penalties this week when it comes to on-track activity, as in, Zane Smith and Carson Hocevar. No, or Zane Smith, really, no penalty. Carson Hocevar just got damage. SVG, penalty, and Austin Hill got no penalty for coming back on track and basically door slamming SVG after coming off pit road. I am actually very perplexed on that ruling because they penalized Ryan Preece. I think it was 25 driver points and like what, $25,000, which currently has Preece on the outside looking into the playoffs. If Preece does not get that penalty, he is currently in the playoffs or in the
What
chase.
playoffs?
The chase. You know what I meant. The chase. I'm so used to calling it that. But
I know.
honestly, I am baffled at NASCAR's rule process or the deciding factors. The only thing that I could see is, Priest made one sentence 30 minutes prior to wrecking, Ty Gibbs. Was that the only deciding factor between the Ty Gibbs Priest incident and the SVG Hill and Zane Smith and Kosovar incident? Was one made a statement way prior to advance and the other one didn't? I'm very sorry, but NASCAR, you got to be more consistent with your rules. If you're going to penalize Priest, you're going to penalize Zane Smith, SVG, and Hill. There's no other way to put that. If you're gonna penalize one, you gotta hold the line and you gotta be consistent with your ruling. If you're not gonna be consistent, give Priest his 25 points back and let's make this a chase. I'm very disappointed with NASCAR's ruling on this because if they're gonna give a penalty, they should have given a penalty. But if they're not gonna give a penalty, keep your hands out of the cookie jar and quit messing with the playoffs. Because there really is no nice way to put that. That was a really crappy call for us for the Ryan Preece incident. There was really no other way for me to put that. I was trying to realize it was. Oh, I was reading Jason's thing. Jason, you said you're going to Indy. We go to New Hampshire here in like a month. So I'm trying to think how far out that is from where we are on the schedule. I completely missed that in my thing somewhere. Oh, that's okay. Anyway, yeah, I really don't have a whole lot of NASCAR this week. I mean, Toyota dominated again. It was Christopher Bell and Chase Briscoe out front. Christopher Bell was running them down, and Chase Briscoe used the aero block to basically knock Bell off his game and win the race. I believe Denny Hamlin got Byron at the line to finish third and fourth. Just Chevy needs to, get a little better, but also this is kind of one of those just Toyota seasons. They keep speculating about the lawsuits playing a role into this, and honestly, right now, there's not a whole lot I can really do to argue that because Toyota has dominated this season. It is almost bizarre how bad Chevy and Ford are getting beat to Toyota conveniently after this lawsuit and everything. Tyler Reddick just keeps dropping points like the milkshake he dropped out of his exhaust pipes this week. He is just draining points down the drain. At one point, he was up on Denny Hamlin, and now Denny Hamlin's lead is growing. I think he's actually third to Ryan Blaney now that I think about it. I mean, he is 44 points ahead of Ryan Blaney. It is absolutely wild how far back Denny Hamlin came from just to finish, last with a blown motor. Yes, I see Bowman Gray. I see it.
I was referring to Jason, how he said you owe him a T-shirt.
Oh, I have. We actually, what shirt did we just get? Oh, we got our San Diego T-shirts. I finally got one of those in the mail, and we bought one at the track. Those were some crazy races. I did see a video this week doing early predictions for next year's schedule, and I guess I should probably put my 2 cents in on this. I know that there's a lot of tracks that are not expected to come back, and there's a lot of tracks, in my opinion, that have no business being in the NASCAR schedule, period. First one, and this will be a controversial one, at least for some people, Dover. Gotta go. I don't even care if it's a points race, non-points race, if it's an exhibition, don't give a crap. It's gotta go. At least on the Cup Series schedule, because Dover absolutely sucks with the Cup cars. Run the Truck Series in the O'Reilly there. Cup has no business being there anymore. The racing is boring. They took 50 laps off the race for the All-Star race, and it literally made the race even worse than what it was for a 400-lap race. I'm sorry, but Dover's good. Dover's got to go from the Cup Series schedule. If that means that the O'Reilly and the Truck Series goes, then, NASCAR needs to fix their shit. I am not a fan of Dover's racing.
Don't get rid of the track. Get rid of this damn car.
Yes, that too. I honestly think if NASCAR is not going to get rid of this car or fix it, run the ARCA series with the other 2 series. But it doesn't need a Cup weekend. It's just wasting time for people at the track. I honestly don't even know why it's on the Cup schedule. We have some tracks where they only run O'Reilly and trucks and ARCA. I think this just needs to be another Rockingham because Dover has no business having Cup. Another track on my schedule that I really think needs to get another date is Chicagoland. Yes, this race is a little bit of, it's not what it was back with the Gen 6 car. But I feel like I said, Russ, this is going to ruffle some feathers. I got to have a little bit of it saying this stuff. I think Chicagoland should at least come back. I wouldn't say all the time because I think Chicago Street Course has one more race on their contract. I honestly would like to see them go back and forth. I'd love to see a street course, and then also some years we get the Chicagoland. Say there's an event in Chicago where we can't run the street course. Just run Chicagoland. Doesn't have to be every year. I don't want Chicagoland every year, but I would like to see the street course come back. I think that I would like to get a dry weekend. We have yet to get a dry weekend in Chicagoland or in Chicago Street Course. I don't think we ever had a dry weekend, did we? At least not that I'm aware of.
I don't know.
I don't remember ever having a dry Chicago Street Course, so I would like to have that come back. Maybe if they can get a dry weekend for it before they give up all hope. I don't think this is the end of Chicagoland. It was nice to see the track filled. Yes, I understand the parking was absolutely a nightmare because of the rain, and I don't really know if I agree with them canceling, cutting it from the schedule, but I don't think it needs to be every year. I think there was just, unforeseen circumstances that made getting into the track miserable, gave it the old, Kentucky treatment, I think is what it was. So I don't know. I would like to see, though, at least Chicagoland and Chicago Street Course back. And I know it was a one-off. Got to get San Diego back. Now, hear me out. I do not agree with it being 4th of July weekend. They have their own 4th of July thing going on with the fireworks. I don't think it's necessary to run at the 4th of July, but I do think, maybe we run that prior to the All-Star race. I'm not saying we run the All-Star race at San Diego. I say we run that as part of the West Coast swing or something prior to going to Memorial Day weekend with the All-Star race and the Cook 600. And if that means that they have to run the All-Star race somewhere in the Midwest, maybe we'll get it, I don't know, Nashville Fairgrounds.
I got one for you. It'll make you happy. Take the All-Star race back to Charlotte where it belongs.
I mean, I'm not against that. I would love, honestly, I know it's a smaller track. I would love to see an all-out brawl of an All-Star race at Bowman Gray. Yes, I understand it's too small, but give the fans what they're used to seeing, an absolute heavyweight battle where the fenders are just extra boxing gloves, full contact, beating the crud out of each other. I think Bristol was a little bit too high pace for the All-Star race when they did it. Plus, they did that weird underglow crap. I feel like if we're going to run an All-Star race, run it on a short track Saturday night. Full moon, if that's what they're going to get. I mean, you know how drivers get when the full moon's out. I want to see it get absolute chaotic. The All-Star race when it was at Charlotte, at least back when Boyer and Newman went at it, that was what I liked, was just the absolute chaos that came with the All-Star race. It actually meant something then. It was good racing, good. Really, I feel like Charlotte in general had pretty good racing, at least towards the end of the 1/600 where they were 4 wide coming to the white. I think that would be a great race, great style racing going, crazy like that. But also, I do think that good short track Saturday night style All Star race would make it worth it. Also, with just all out brawl. I will clarify when it comes to the All Star race, this whole 36 car field crap they were in at Dover, no, not going to happen. You get in by pole awards or wins. I forget how they did it, or past champions. I don't know if they did pole awards for the All Star race in the past, but go back to the old school. Entry to the All Star race. You either won a race, or you got a bunch of poles, or you're a past champion. I can understand, and then obviously the fan vote, and then you also got to make it through the Open. But this no Open crap from this year, no, not going to fly. I hope that they never, ever let this happen again. And if they do, I hope that whoever was in charge gets fired because it's not necessary. It wasn't worth it. Probably the biggest waste of time I've ever seen, especially because Fox was running it. But speaking of TV broadcasts, I saw an article this week about about Prime wishing they had purchased more races. As a NASCAR fan, please, Prime, buy more races. We'd love for you to buy
the whole damn schedule.
I mean, if you have to buy the whole schedule, but at a minimum, buy the 2 exhibition races and the 14 races that are in between the 2 exhibition races. Please. I think that's actually 12 races. Please buy the 2 exhibitions and the 12 points races. That's all I ask. Is if you're going to buy more, buy those amounts. Because that way, no more worrying about Fox. They can go kick rocks with the IndyCar series. And I'm sorry, Jason, if that upsets you. That's my 2 cents on it. They can have IndyCar and mess that up. But Fox was great back in the day. It's been crap since I don't know, like 2010s. And even then it's getting worse.
Here's the one thing I do say that Amazon needs to do. Bring Kevin Harvick over, please. I don't say that because he was my favorite driver. I don't say that because of that. I say it because he is a seasoned veteran and he knows these cars and he knows these tracks and he knows this sport inside and out.
I'll agree with that one. That one I will agree with because Dale Jr. really does know next gen cars. Yeah, don't bring Boyer. I really think if you're gonna bring a driver over from one of the other series, it's got to be Kevin Harvick. Jamie Mack has no experience. Parker Kligerman has no experience. Clint Boyer doesn't have any experience in NASCAR, period. He doesn't even have any good finishes in the Gen 6 cars or prior. I mean, the dude is there for comic relief.
What I would love to see is actually Kevin Harvick and Dale Jr. in the booth together. I think those guys, Dale grew up in this sport. Literally, he grew up in this sport. So he knows it like the back of his hand. Kevin Harvick knows this new car. He's driven this car. So he knows what to talk about, how to explain it. And they both know the racetracks and the racing itself. So I think
they would make Jason.
A great team.
If you're looking for a New Hampshire shirt, you ain't getting it with that one.
I think Junior and Harvick would make a great broadcast team. I would love to see them get together and get rid of Clint Boyer. I cannot stand having Clint Boyer in the damn booth.
I when I really think about it, I don't. I do like the idea of Dale Jr. and Kevin Harvick being in the booth together. At the same time, I don't know how I feel about it. Like I do think they are the better two people to be in the booth. I don't know how I feel about them being in the same broadcast. Because, yes, Kevin R. did drive the next gen cars. But at the same time, Junior also gives kind of the excitement factor. The best way I could describe it is it kind of puts the Darrell Waltrip part in the broadcast booth. He got all excited, kind of gets overexcited for his words. That I will give him. See, I don't know about the Will Buxton thing. I haven't watched enough of those two combos to do that. I don't know if I'd bring Mike Joy.
Mike Joy.
The only reason I'm against
But
Mike
I
Joy
would
is
still-
only because I think he's on his way out. He's great. Don't get me wrong. I love Mike Joy being in the booth. Harvick and Mike Joy alone should be able to run the Fox booth. But at the same time, I don't know how long Mike Joy will last in the series because he is getting up there in age. Not because I want him to
I'll
leave,
tell you
but
this.
just because I feel like he will be done soon.
If you want to bring a DW factor back to the booth with a little bit of comedy, but a guy that knows what he's talking about, oh God, bring Kenny Wallace in.
See, I don't know about that one because Kenny hasn't been
Really?
in NASCAR in a while. I
It
do
doesn't
I do
matter.
agree with the comedy part, but I don't
I
know if
love
he can
Kenny,
have a
dude. I love
filter
Kenny.
long enough to get through a broadcast. That's my only
Oh
concern.
yeah, he can. He can. He did it before. He can. I'm sure he can.
Honestly, my
But
favorite broadcast of Kenny's was. See, I don't know about Larry Mack.
as
He was really good with the
okay,
tech stuff, but I don't know how long he'd do with
yeah.
that stuff.
I would bring him in as the tech consultant / crew chief consultant, like they always have.
Oh, I don't know. I think
But
Letarte would be better than Larry Mack. And when it comes to this aspect, because Larry Mack hasn't been a crew chief in NASCAR in a long time. Steve
I'll
Letarte's a
tell you
little bit
one.
more recent. That's the only reason I go with that one over Larry Mack.
I would love to see them bring in, if Larry Mack, when Larry Mack's done, bring in somebody like Chad Knaus.
See, I've heard Chad Knaus on the broadcast before, and I feel like he's too scared to give out his secrets.
I'm not saying give out your secrets. I'm just saying that guy knows how to explain a race car.
Oh, he does. I do feel like he does. I think he still works for Hendrick in some sort. I'm not exactly sure. So I feel like that would be a little bit, iffy.
See, I miss the old days of BP, Ned Jarrett.
I
Darrell
think about
Waltrip.
BP all the time. He was probably one of the yes, he was a bigger dude, and he really didn't do a whole lot for the NBC broadcast. But the sound bites from that dude were hilarious. Wow,
I know it.
those were the better
uh,
broadcasts.
Just BP's accent alone just made it worthwhile. But
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I do like that thought, Jason. Ray Evernham. Yes, he's a bit old school, but he does still do the IROC series. And I feel like that dude is tinkering with anything he can get his hands on. That would be kind of interesting to see Ray Evernham in the booth. I still feel like Steve Letarte will be more up to date, but I do feel like the strategy-wise, from thinking outside the box, that's a Ray Evernham move right there. That will be a good one. I do kind of like the idea of Ray Evernham. I feel like Larry Mack is kind of out of touch when it comes to the newer stuff. I mean, the newer generation of crew chiefs is definitely where you need to go. I wouldn't say new as in somebody on pit road currently, but I wouldn't say old Ray Evernham. I feel like is a good option. I do feel like Steve Letarte is in that category.
I got a better one than Steve Letarte, but I'm not sure how he would do broadcast-wise. Knowledge-wise, Rodney Childers.
See, I don't know. That would be kind of cool to see Kevin Harvick and Rodney Childers in the booth together. I don't know though. That is a very good question. I hadn't thought about that one.
As a broadcaster, I I'm not quite sure, but as a crew chief and a guy with knowledge, I think he would be great. Another
You know
one
who
would
I
be one that I think would actually be good on both sides when it comes to knowledge and a entertainment style factor in the booth as a broadcaster would actually be in a, you wouldn't really think of this guy, but Todd Barrier.
Oh, I forget who is he crew chiefing for now? I forgot about that. I forgot about him.
I don't think he's crew chiefing anybody anymore.
The one that I want to see on the bingo card for next year that would really ruffle some feathers. Got to get Chris Gabehart in the booth. That'll be one. That'll be one. So we know that he's not working for Spire. He's not helping Gibbs. That'd be one of those if you real. Ooh. See, I don't know if Fatback McSwain would be as recent. I don't know about that one. I did see that he did a Dale Jr. download episode, but I don't know. I don't know about that one. That's one of
Hey,
those.
wait, I got one. If we want an entertainment factor, Jason, you got to agree with me on this. Nathan
of course.
Johns.
See, I don't know. I feel like I'd be more entertained watching them, come around the corner. I wouldn't forget to watch the teleprompter and the screen. I'd be skiing all over the place. I'd be everywhere.
Nathan would be bitching up a storm. He'd be Denny Hacklin and like all kinds of stuff, man. They would fire
I'd
him
probably
halfway
get
through his
I'd
first
probably
one.
get fired after the first few laps. I
Yeah,
can't exactly argue that one. You got overrated in the 5. You got Hacklin in the 11. Hurricane Hocevar in the 77. Although I do feel like that one's warranted. My
Well,
luck,
they
I'd
call
get
him Hurricane.
fired. My luck, I'd get fired for Shane Van Hugenpower. Or whatever they had said his name was over the radio. I still think that's the funniest part of that entire race was that mispronunciation of SVG. Because there's not a lot of people who can pronounce the name to start with. That might have been the most comical pronunciation I've heard, but not a whole lot of people do it. I don't know. I feel like he is getting better at ovals. I saw that comment. I feel like he is getting better at some tracks. I mean, I do feel like when he does win an oval, we are in serious trouble once he figures these ovals out. He is getting better, but most of these tracks, you're right, he sucks at ovals. I want to see him win it. I feel like Darlington's one of his better tracks. It'd be a real problem once he figures out Darlington, because that's not one that a lot of people are good at. If he can figure that out faster than most people in the series, we may have a problem. The Southern 500 is going down under, I guess. It's definitely going south. Yeah, isn't that the old Casey Kane song?
I don't know, but
If I'm not mistaken, that's the old Gillette Young Guns and Bud Car from like the Car Tomorrow time, where they did the whole Allstate.
I know a lot of people will get upset with the kid, but I'm gonna tell you what, NASCAR needs a driver like that. We need a couple of them, and especially now that we do not have Kyle Busch anymore, we need guys like this. We need villains, we need heroes, we need neutrals. This sport is getting too bland and too boring. We need this entertainment factor to keep it going.
I have been watching the NASCAR social medias, and they've been doing this on the gas segment with Ryan Blaney. And yes, it is kind of cool, but at the same time, it doesn't give the old vibes of the NASCAR commercials. I watched a video earlier where NASCAR used to be making the sponsors pay for sponsor the car, but they had to put the same amount into promoting the sport. And that's when you had drivers making cameos in commercials, and they were actually entertaining. I want to see more drivers make more cameos commercials. Give me the old school McDonald's commercials. Give me the, Michael Waltrip, I'm at the wrong track commercials. you got to get me some sort of comic relief. I've seen some of the Kyle Larson ones, and they're really, really bad, if you ask me. The Wild West one for the 4th of July might have been the weirdest one I've ever seen, where they're all going faster. I will say the NASCAR Salutes commercial with Brad Keselowski riding the horse was really funny. Because with a broken foot, I'm sure that was absolutely miserable. There have been some good commercials, but they have not had commercials like they did back in the day in a really long time. I do give NASCAR credit for the boys have at it, but if you're gonna be that stance, you got to be hands off the whole season. None of this Ryan Preece, Ty Gibbs bullshit. If you're gonna be that way with SVG, Hill, Smith, and Hocevar, you got to be hands off on everything. The moment you set the precedent, you got to be consistent with it. I don't know if you saw that part earlier, Jason, but we did cover that, and I'm very adamant about that. If you're gonna be hard on one driver for it, you got to be hard on all of them. And if you're not, then you don't let them all go and you let them fight to the death. That's why I really think Bowman Gray for the All-Star race is warranted. They all drive like morons to start the season, and then we settle it out in the boxing ring in the middle of the infield. If you're going to do it, you got to do it big. You need something to set the All-Star race apart because the last few years, it is absolute dog shit. And that's my 2 cents on it.
In the middle.
Put an octagon in the middle. Let them fight. Play hockey. Let them do it by hockey rules. Once one hits the ground, then then you're done. But you gotta either land. Yeah, celebrity death match. Yes, I saw that. That would be funny.
So let me back up here
Okay.
and give my stuff on the NASCAR. So Sunday actually became an engineering showcase for the Toyota Camry XSE program, fielded by Joe Gibbs Racing, which actually swept the podium positions, demonstrating superior mechanical side force extraction and front end steering geometry calibration. So Chase Briscoe in the 19 actually secured the victory from 7th, and he finished a mere 0.276 seconds ahead of teammate Christopher Bell. And Denny Hamlin, who secured the pole position, what did he get? What did he qualify with? 30.296.
I'm looking it up.
He completed the JGR dominance in 3rd place. William Byron actually finished 4th in his Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet, while Alex Bowman rounded out the top 5. And the race's technical narrative was actually defined by severe tire wear management and catastrophic component failures among top tier operations, such as those mentioned. Connor Zilic started 21st in the number 88, suffered an immediate and catastrophic mechanical failure on the opening lap, recording a DNF and finishing 38th. Regular season champion Tyler Reddick, or championship contender, I should say. I'm not going to call him champion yet. But Tyler Reddick experienced a severe power steering fluid thermal spike and actually lost 30 laps on pit road as the crew worked to bypass the system's cooling loops. And it ultimately regulated in him finishing a 36th place run. Kyle Larson encountered handling setbacks himself. He finished 2 laps down at 34th after he fought a ton of unbalanced aerodynamic issues. I mean, just crazy. The Sonoma and Chicagoland rounds also set the brackets for the high stakes in-season challenge tournament, and it introduced a unique matchup to the dynamics of the field. The bracket actually saw significant upsets, none larger than 32nd seeded Alex Bowman eliminating top seeded Tyler Reddick, courtesy of Reddick's mechanical misfortune. And Denny Hamlin's podium finish allowed him to assume a slim regular season championship lead over Reddick by a margin of only 1 point. So that's my take on the Cup. Xfinity Well, that was what the Cuervo 300, and that was actually Saturday, July 4th. So that race highlighted the critical role of tactical adjustments as well as fuel mapping under overtime conditions. JGR's Brandon Jones, he executed a highly effective strategy in the number 20 Toyota, carving through the field from 29th place and secured an overtime victory. Um, Jones, how do you say it? Jones managed to he managed his fuel rate burn during the final green flag sequence and retained enough combustion pressure to defend his line against Chase Elliott, who brought the number 88 Junior Motorsports Chevy home in second, just 0.17 seconds behind the winner. Jesse Love finished third. Um, JGR development driver Brent Cruz, I believe he's a development driver. He placed fourth, and he was driving what, a 19? But managing fuel mileage and tire wear actually proved to be the primary operational constraint for the field. As several front running teams actually had their engine calibration maps uh, to lean burn profiles to actually prevent running dry before the overtime restart. Despite a difficult weekend, veteran Justin Allgaier retained a commanding 207-point lead over Jesse Love in the series standings. And as for the truck series, as we said before, they were off this weekend. So the truck series will actually return to competition this Saturday at the highly technical road course of Lime Rock Park in Lakeville, Connecticut. And entering the Lime Rock round, Lane Riggs actually holds a commanding 65-point lead in the standings over Caden Honeycutt, with Chandler Smith positioned in third. So that's just my take on NASCAR. Had to get that out there real quick.
I do got to give one more quick update because this was kind of a breaking news story this morning, and then it became even more breaking news. There was reports of Thomas Annunziata from the ARCA series was going to run a Kyle Busch, I guess, tribute car at Lime Rock this weekend. And just as we got the news, we also got the news that NASCAR and Mars Candies did not approve it in time for him to run it. So after we saw the beautiful paint scheme they had, they did not get permission to run it, so now they have to disassemble that entire car, which honestly I feel like is complete bullshit. NASCAR, just let them run the damn car. You know, Mars Candies, it's not like it has the M's on the hood, it has an N for nitro. I thought it was a beautiful, beautiful car. Very, very frustrating that
It was
all this and they're not going to let them run it. I do feel like that's a really crappy way to go about it after he's paying tribute to somebody who did so much for the sport in your color scheme. It's just going to want to make people come buy M&Ms. Like that's the biggest pile of crap I've ever heard of. So,
but NASCAR actually gave a shit about Kyle Busch, didn't they?
I guess. It's very frustrating that they're going to play, all of a sudden they're going to, do all this. I mean, after he gave them the middle finger, I guess they did care a little bit. But, it is very frustrating. I would love to see them do the tribute for Kyle. A lot of people have been doing tributes for Kyle. I don't see any reason they should be able to put a stop to it, but yet here we are. It's very disappointing to see that they're gonna, have their hands in every little thing they can, whether it's the points, penalties, who's paying tribute to who. Just, yeah, it's very frustrating. I feel like, it's not hurting anything. It's not like they have, any of his sponsors on the car. It just looks like the car. It's nothing different than doing a, throwback to the Wrangler jeans car on the 2 car. I'm sorry, but I don't know if Austin Cindric is sponsored by Wrangler. Doesn't really make a difference to me. I'm sure there's drivers out there who have done a throwback that are not sponsored by the sponsor that was on the car or the scheme that was on the car, but yet we're going to have a problem with it. It's a little bit ridiculous if you ask me. I mean, conveniently enough, here's an example from the O'Reilly series. Brendan Poole ran the Bugs Bunny Jeff Gordon, scheme, similar scheme. But yet, we don't have any penalties over, or we don't have any, issue with that. But now we're going to run an iconic, more recent scheme, and now there's going to be an issue. I really question their, tactics with this, or their methods to how they're approving these, because, you had what, some sort of, I feel like it was some sort of like cleaning service or something on the Bugs Bunny throwback. But yet, no issue with Bugs Bunny, no issues with Brendan Poole being on the car, but the car literally looked identical to the Jeff Gordon car ran way back in the day, but yet they could run an identical scheme, not have an issue, but we run an M&M scheme and it's chaos, and we're not allowed to run it because they didn't get approval. Throwback weekend is throwback weekend. We have no more throwback weekend. Let the people run the throwbacks when they want to run the freaking throwbacks. Come on.
And this is why NASCAR sucks anymore.
Unfortunately, you're right.
Really,
NASCAR has is starting to become a joke with their consistencies and also a joke with a lot of other stuff. It's very frustrating. I'm sure there's other fans that feel the same.
But yeah, just as I was telling Jason, I guess I could tell the kart racers, well, I'm back.
I did hear about this.
I am back on the flag stand at Great Lakes Speedway, which is a kart racetrack. The comeback race for Great Lakes, which was a 1,000 to win, runway you brung, flat kart.
Race, yeah, you need to put that specification in there, Russ. You got me all excited.
I told you I could ask, but unfortunately we got 10 laps of the feature and it started to rain, so we're actually going to rerun that race, and it's going to start all over again. It was paid out partially with an agreement between the track promoter and the winner of that race. They came to an agreement where they split it in half, and the extra $500 actually gets put into the next race and becomes $1,500 to win rather than $1,000 to win. So
that's crazy.
That'll be, I believe they announced it on the webpage or the Facebook page that will take place on August 8th. So we'll see what that brings, if we get any added entries. Anyone who did run that race already does not have to pay an entry fee. Any additional drivers that have not ran the race will have to pay the $50 entry. So be prepared for that. Admission is $15 for everyone, and everyone gets a pit pass. I mean, the whole place is just like an open pit area. So
gotta get a chip cart version.
We just don't have enough of them around here to support the dirt, but it was fun. Reminded me of why I like the job and why I don't like the job, but
it was fun till you got wet.
All in all, I'm glad to be back on the stand. I appreciate promoter Chad Berger for giving me the opportunity, and I look forward to continue working with him. He did exactly what he said he was going to do, and let me do exactly what he said he was going to let me do. So great job to him. Thank you for all the drivers that did come to that and support it. We appreciate that, and we look forward to seeing you again. So that's all I really have, though, Nathan.
That's all I had too. That's all I had too. I'm starting to get tired.
Yeah, we've been on longer than expected, anyway. So, but I'll wrap it up here. Looking ahead, the midsummer schedule presents an absolute gauntlet for race teams across all formats. NASCAR National Series, the Cup and Xfinity Series migrate immediately to the High Bank drafting playground of Atlanta Motor Speedway, contested under Echo Park Speedway now. Sorry. And that will be this weekend, where Denny Hamlin will actually defend his razor-thin 1-point regular season point lead over Tyler Reddick. And meanwhile, the Craftsman Truck Series returns from their hiatus on Saturday to tackle the sweeping road course turns of Lime Rock Park, putting Lane Riggs' road course prowess and 65-point standings lead to a severe test. The World of Outlaws Sprint Cars, the greatest show on dirt, actually wakes up from its holiday break to embark on a grueling gauntlet of 13 races in 24 days. This starts with the Pure Michigan Showdown at Hartford Speedway tonight, followed by a Wisconsin doubleheader immediately at Wilmot Speedway on July 10th and 11th, this Saturday, or this weekend. This actually leads directly into the prestigious 38th annual Ohio Logistics Brad Doty Classic at Attica Raceway Park on Tuesday, July 14th, offering that elevated $20,000 to win as the official launch pad to Eldora Speedway's Kings Royal Week. High Limit Racing, the High Rollers actually returned to action Monday, July 13th at Fremont Speedway for the Hollywood Casino High Stakes Showdown. This event will actually mark Brock Zierfost's highly anticipated debut in the Dutcher Motorsports number 17 GP, setting a vital technical baseline for the team before they head right over into Eldora's lucrative Joker's Jackpot and Double Down preliminaries. So the early stretch of July 2026 actually highlighted the operational adaptability, severe heat management, and tactical lane selection remain the defining pillars of championship contention. In asphalt stock car competition, Joe Gibbs Racing's dominant podium sweep at Chicagoland actually showed that superior engineering of aerodynamic side force and tire conservation outweighs raw, short-run speed under extreme summer temperatures. Conversely, mechanical vulnerabilities ranging from Tyler Reddick's power steering thermal spikes to Connor Zulich's instantaneous driveline failures proved that thermal management of component fluids can instantly disrupt a championship campaign. Over on the dirt, the conclusion of the 36th annual PA Sprint Car Speed Week demonstrated the intense physical and mechanical limits of open wheel racing. The miniseries ultimate battle came down to micro margins as Anthony Macri utilized very aggressive top shelf momentum to edge Chase Deese at Williams Grove by a microscopic 0.041 seconds. Despite meteorological interventions washing out the final two legs, the week proved that regional teams running highly refined, localized chassis setups remained formidable competitors against national touring superstars. Additionally, Brock Zierfost's late week jump to Dutcher Motorsports high limit entry demonstrates that mid-season driver movements are accelerating as teams aggressively recalibrate their alignments before the high-paying late summer crown jewels. But that's going to wrap up this episode. And don't forget, we bring you race recaps and all those adrenaline-packed moments every week. Whether you live for those sideways, mudslinging, dirt track slide jobs, or the door-banging, paint-trading action in NASCAR, you belong right here. Hit that subscribe button now so you never miss a finish. Until next time, keep switching grooves. I'm Russ Fritz.
And I'm Nathan Johns.
And we're telling you to race hard.
Stay safe.
And we'll see you there.
Good night, everybody.